the door, okay? Ready? Start. Started. Nice. Okay, so let me introduce myself first. My name is Margaret, Małgorzata in Polish, and I will take you around the mine. But what you need to know before we actually start is around the corner there are a lot of stairs leading to the first level of the mine, about 300 of them, and there will be many more, up to 800 altogether, until we finish and complete the tour on the third level. It's not possible to finish somewhere halfway. You need to complete it. Okay, so I hope you are full of energy and in good, comfortable shoes. So on the stairs, please be careful, hold the handrails, take your time, and see you on the first
Look down, it's a long yeah, we're going down. Here we are.
Probably the best thing that could have happened to you, Aaron, losing signal. Just get one big hit and you get back up. I say we ain't made it yet.
There is a left back up, isn't there?
The light. As you've noticed, we cannot open two doors at the same time. Okay, so when you close the door behind, then I can open the next one. It's because of the artificial ventilation system which is used.
Kom daar, hè?
Okay, just can please come in and close the door.
Yeah, make out they're the ones we can make. Make friends.
Hold please.
What, 3,000?
mine for over 7 centuries. Not anymore. Now it is just a museum. Look, we are on the first level, 64 meters deep, and we'll see the first 3 levels. 1, 2, 3, but there are 9 of them altogether. And the deepest point of this mine is over 300 meters deep. Believe me, it will take us long weeks, if not months, to visit all the levels, tunnels, long tunnels, and chambers. So what you are going to see today during the regular tour is more or less 1% of the area of the mine. And the tour will take us about 2 hours altogether. After a break on the 3rd level, you can catch the lift, the elevator to the top. That's the good news. No stairs up. On our way, please stick to the group anyway. It's quite easy to get lost in here. The mine is like a maze, so follow me all the time. I need the same 34 tourists when we finish in the last chunk. Okay, that's very important. As I said, you can take pictures with your own cameras on your way, and during the tour you will see beautiful sites, chambers decorated with salt sculptures, underground chapels and lakes. But at the end of the tour you can take a long break, and there you will find a nice shopping area and a restaurant. I hope you are ready to continue. Not too tired after walking so many stairs. You will be tired when you finish. And now you are ready to go, I assume, so enjoy the tour and follow me. Our first exhibition. Now you can feel a nice breeze of fresh air coming from the outside. An artificial ventilation system is used in here to provide enough fresh air for the thousands of people visiting this place every day, and also for workers spending long hours underground. In the past, it worked exactly the same. The shafts were used to bring fresh air in here. Miners used kind of hand fans, hand ventilators as well. And the shafts were also used to transport salt and wood. And as you can see in our first exhibition, pieces of rock salt or barrels with fine salt were transported on ropes up to the top with the help of different wooden machines. Smaller ones, like that one on your left, were operated by nuns. Huge machines required a lot of power. That's why horses were employed. I'm going to tell you about it later. Now we are turning back and going to the chamber with the first sculpture. Remember, the ceilings, especially on the first level, are quite low, so if it's necessary, remember to watch your head. It will be necessary.
You'll duck down to do that.
It's the amount of material we need to ship around it.
first chamber is named after Nicolaus Copernicus, a famous Polish astronomer who most probably visited our mine when he was a student at the Krakow University. But that was a long time ago. Copernicus was born in 1473. 500 years later, in 1973, this monument was carved from here out of a block of rock salt which was placed in the middle of the chamber to commemorate his 500th birthday and also his visit to our mine. So now Copernicus, the astronomer who discovered the solar system, is also considered to be the first legendary tourist to our salt mine. So if your question is when this mine started to be tourist attraction, the answer is it has always been open for tourists. And on our way you will see more salt sculptures. Please remember that they are all miners' artworks. We have never hired any professional artists, but some miners were so talented that some of them were hired for long years to carve in salt. Today on our way you will see the results of their work. Nowadays, our main aim is to save the monuments for the future generations, but the problem with rock salt is that it easily dissolves, it absorbs moisture, humidity, and it kind of melts. That's why an air conditioning system is also used in here to keep the mine dry. And for the same reason, you are kindly requested not to touch the salt sculptures. Copernicus would quickly disappear if everybody would like to do it. Not to mention licking it. Yes, you can taste salt from the walls, you can lick them everywhere, but please don't touch the salt touches. Yes. Believe it or not, we are standing on the salt floor. These are also salt tiles because actually wherever you look on the walls, ceilings and floors, there is nothing but salt. Sodium chloride, NaCl, no other minerals were found in Wieliczka. You can do the same with your mobiles to see that salt only looks so dark, see, without light. But this is what rock salt really looks like. The next one is already coming, so take some pictures please, and let me take you to the next chamber to see more salt sculptures.
Hommassa ei olisi mitään tolppaa. Mikä? Jännä näitä, että ne on vähän. Silloin kun aikaa kerran tulin, minulla on käsi sitä kerran, että sulla on voinut olla. Tuossa on ollut semmoisen 2 miljoonaa vuotta. Sitten sä ostat sen kaupasta ja siihen tulee päivä. Sitten on tuossa se vanhentu.
About 13 million years ago, in the Miocene period, there used to be kind of salt sea at this area of our country. And during the hot climate period, when the water evaporated, then salt crystallized. Later, during the tectonic movements, this huge salt seam, a few kilometers long, salt seam was folded and crushed into pieces, which means that this mine is not one lump of rock salt, but these are smaller pieces connected together by the tunnels. So now imagine we are walking as if on the bottom of the sea. And now we are turning right to see a beautiful composition of life-size figures made out of salt, which is called The Great Legend. Now it's time to listen to the story about Princess Kinga from Hungary and find out how rock salt was discovered in Wieliczka. So, listen to what happened.
When a Polish prince called Bolesław proposed to Hungarian Princess Kinga, her father, King Bela, insisted on a traditional dowry. But Kinga came up with another idea. She knew that no rock salt was mined in Poland and decided to ask her father for a group of salt miners. She wished to find salt in Poland with their help. Without a second thought, the king presented to Kinga an entire salt mine in Hungary. The princess visited the mine on her way to Krakow. She came near the mine shaft and, surprisingly, threw her engagement ring into it. When she arrived to her new country, she requested the miners to look for salt. The result came soon. The miners discovered salt deposits near Krakow that gave Poland centuries-long prosperity. They say that Kinga's engagement ring was found in the first salt lump extracted.
So to take a long story short, it is believed that Princess Kinga brought salt from Hungary to Poland. Although this is just a legend, Kinga was real. She lived in Hungary in the 13th century, and she spent most of her life in Poland. She became a patron of this mine and canonized not so long ago by John Paul II. That's why the most beautiful underground chapel is dedicated to Saint Kinga, and we will be there soon. Now, before we go, have you noticed the stalagmites over there in the corner? They're kind of really long and thin. That's why we call them salt spaghetti. In a moment, you can see and taste salt going forward. Come this way. We are surrounded by rock salt, which looks grey, but if dripping water dissolves rock salt and it evaporates immediately, don't be afraid, it's not a real explosion, then salt turns white. This is not the natural color of salt. See, rust turns it into orange brown. In our mine, naturally, there are just the two types of salt, which is grey rock salt and white evaporated salt, never in different colors. So don't taste these orange ones here, because this can be quite unhealthy.
Yellow smoke.
Those miners had to work in wet clothes. And as you can see, they used kind of sticks, long poles with burning torches on tops to reach the ceilings. And carefully from the distance, they were searching for methane gas like this, and they tried to burn it out. But that was possible only if there were traces of it, up to 5% in the mine atmosphere. If there was more, then it would easily explode and contact with open fire. So those miners risked their lives every time they were in action, but they had no choice. Now please switch the lights off for a few seconds, and in the dark you will see what it was like to be a gas burner. But don't be afraid. Thanks to the efficient ventilation system, there is no such danger of gas explosions, so we are safe. But there's no better place to remind you that using any sources of open fire is forbidden. No matches, lighters, cigarettes, cigars, and so on. Please don't do that for our own safety. And if you're ready, let's continue.
Oloja ei paljon ole.
salt crystals.
Ja kaikki tuli oli vaan
This
joka
is
tapauksessa.
pure 100% rocks. And watch your hair.
Perfect, I smell that. Układam reflection zero constant, to są mała chuja i coś z tych rękach metafora. No ta ręka. Trees,
So transport equipment. On your left, a collection of simple objects made out of wood which were used for horizontal transport. And first, over there you can see that miners had to fill barrels with salt, and then the barrels were transported in special carts or sledges, which moved along the wooden rails along the floors. But when you look at the floor over here, you can see old rails, train tracks. In the 20th century, electric trains were used, but before that, horses were employed. For the first time, they were brought in here in the 16th century. Once the horses got in here, they had to stay underground. They lived here, literally. Miners didn't. They just worked shifts and came back home every day. But it was very complicated to bring horses in here. So once they got in here, they had to stay for long. But for the miners, it took, I don't know, 10 minutes to get from the surface to the first level by the stairs. At first, they were also lowered on ropes. You will see it in the next chamber. So there was no need for the miners to stay here for a week, for example. Most of them were local workers from the Wieliczka town and from nearby villages. The last horse stayed in here until the year 2002, not so long ago. Even this mine had closed a bit earlier. This was an active mine until 1996. Well, first of all, it was no more profitable to dig it anymore, and that's why the mine was closed then at the end of the 20th century. Also, after the last but serious flood in 1992, we lost the license for mining. It meant that it was no more safe to go deeper, to dig more. It doesn't mean that there is no more salt left. There's plenty of salt around, but this will never be an active mine anymore. 4 years later, after the flood, as a consequence of it, the mine had to be closed. And now, as I've said before, it is just a tourist attraction. Let's go this way.
Wygląd.
Przepraszam. Tyle.
Okay, this spacious chamber is dedicated to one of the published kings, Casimir the Great. You can see the monument of the king here. But first of all, while we're here, I'd like to draw attention to the original, authentic Saxon horse here. One of the biggest machines ever used in our mine. And 8 horses set here. This way, miners, horses, salt, and wood transported along the shaft from the surface into the mine and back. When you get closer to the glass case over there in the chamber, you can see. See? So when 4 pairs of horses set the gear in movement, look at the ropes. They started moving 2 opposite directions, and they were going up and down the shaft like this, taking salt to the top. At the same time, wood could be transported down the shaft into the mine. You can see a lot of timber was used over here to support all the chambers and tunnels. And when the barrels with salt or a roll of salt was on the top, then the horses took a short break and also switched from left to right. Then when they went the other way around, again, salt went up and wood down. Also the miners and horses were transported like this. Horses were lowered down the shaft in wooden cages, boxes for safety. If you look around over here, it's a good place to show you that miners dug huge squares of rock salt with a help of hand tools. And then, because they were so big and heavy, they shaped them into kind of rolls, because then it was easier to roll them, push them along the floors to the nearest shafts. You can see 2 rolls of rock salt next to the monument. One could weigh 2,000 kilograms, 2 tons. Take some pictures, please. Look at the stalactites on the ceiling, a lot of them. Several times a year we have to clean them, because when they are too long, they start falling down. And if you're ready,
You really don't leave me down here, it's all.
Thousands of years ago, before rock salt was discovered in Wieliczka, salt was produced from salty water, which was found in wells or springs, and by boiling it above the fire in the huge clay pots, evaporated salt was produced. At first it was used for cooking, preserving food, seasoning, and salt was also used as money in an exchange trade. Searching for salty water, digging deeper wells, going deeper and deeper to get more of it, finally rock salt was found. Those people were not looking for it. They found it by accident, and at first they didn't even realize what it was. And nowadays, although this mine was closed, we still get salt from underground salty water. This way, over 13,000 tons of salt is produced every year. So don't be surprised to see salt from Wieliczka in Polish supermarkets or even in our souvenir shops. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are still on the same level, level 1, and now more stairs to the second. See the chamber from the top first. Excavated by the miners. You can see it's quite deep, but still the workers have to carry salt from the bottom to the top. At first they have to climb up the ladders and they had to carry salt in their hands. That's why, to make the work easier, such hand crosses were invented. One was operated by 4 miners, and then when they moved the ropes, they could easily transport salt and wood just between the 2 levels. So this simple invention made miners' lives. Now we are going downstairs, down the sandstone chamber. Apart from the shining salt crystals, there is a lot of sandstone in this area. It's not just pure salt. If you manage to touch the ceiling of a wall, right, you will feel how rough they are because of the grains of sand. Now, please come this way. And watch our exhibitions. On your left, you can see the original salts that miners used to walk up and down, carrying salt or salty water in wooden buckets or leather bags. So you can see that the working conditions were quite difficult. Not to mention the fact that there was no light in here, electricity, so it was quite dark in here. And as you can see, there was not much timber used to support this chamber, but still we can be here thanks to the rope anchors you can see everywhere. They are kind of long screws, about over 10 meters long, drilled into the walls, then fixed with special epoxy glue, and now they reinforce the tunnels and chambers perfectly. In some places, if it's necessary, special protective nets are also used for safety. Let's wait over here for our time to see the next side. On busy days, traffic jams. Something. As you've noticed, the temperature in the mine is more or less the same everywhere, and we try to keep it like this all year round, about 16-18 degrees Celsius. So it always feels quite nice and cool in the summer when it's hot outside, and also quite warm during winter time when it's freezing cold outside. Of course, the second level is the warmest area on the tourist. Here. You can step on it, it's safe. In both tunnels you can see an old drainage system, a system of channels made out of wood, which was used to collect water in wooden barrels of huge wooden pools. A system of wooden pipes placed on the bow was also used to collect water. Between the levels, miners used different kinds of water pumps. There's just one of them on our way, and this isn't an original machine, just a small red construction. The wheel was 10 times bigger at least, and still it was moved by the miners. When the chain with the bags went down, came back along the wooden pipe, and then the bags pushed the salty water up to the jar. And you can see that the miners worked really hard here. Not only did they drop salt, but many jobs. Miners were quite religious, and the chain with the bags looked like a rope. level, 19 meters deep. Up to 1,000. And they work in different areas, different locations, on all the levels at the same time. But a lot of people were also employed on the surface to operate the first years. Look, this dark cave is surprisingly designed for youngest visitors. This is the salt land with 7 words. No Snow White, just the words. Women were never allowed to work in the mine. They were nice. Oh yeah, they were even believed to bring bad luck. These words represent different jobs done by miners. They are here because they were believed to be good spirits, ghosts, which lived in the mine, gardens of treasure, and also helped miners at work secretly in the dark. As I said before, we are taking the regular tour, but there are also special tours for little children with special attractions, including the salt Now it's time to see the first underground chapel on our way, the Holy Cross Chapel from the 1860s. As you can see, the main altar is made out of wood and it rests on 2 solemn columns. There is a cross on it and it's named the Holy Cross Chapel. The sculpture of Jesus is also made out of wood. In front of the altar, 2 resolved sculptures of monks kneeling, praying, brought from a destroyed chapel from a different area of the mine. Opposite the main altar, a wooden sculpture of Our Lady Victorious, Matka Boska Zwycięska. It's about 300 years old now, still in a very good condition. As you can see, especially with microclimate and dry, salty air, preserved wood perfectly. Above, a wooden chandelier decorated with salt crystals, and there are also salt mines on the floor. Why chapels in the mine? You already know that the miners worked in a dangerous place, in the dark. There were cases of fire, gas explosions, injuries and accidents on a daily basis. So they needed such places to pray before or after work, just in case. And the miners built the chapels for themselves. There was a lot of timber, you can see it everywhere. So that's why most of the chapels are made out of wood. Only some were carved in salt. And now it's time to see one of them. Come with me. And now it's finally time to see the most beautiful and the most impressive sight on our way, the St. Kinga's Chapel. First we'll see it from the top and then we're going downstairs. Before we do that, the first emergency toilets on your right over there. Next, in about 15 minutes, we will take a short break for toilets on the second lower level. Also, these are the rules for visitors. Study them and respect them, please. First of all, you want to keep this place quiet. Acoustics makes it very noisy. And no eating, drinking over there. If it's not a problem, we also kind gentlemen to take the caps and hats off. And now, come to the shop. It's about 126 years old. But at first it was just an empty cave. Miners started working over here in 1862 and they left the chamber empty for over 30 years. And then they decided to turn it into the chamber. At first just a small wooden altar was built on the right, and this was the place where the miners stopped on their way to work for a short time. In time, the carving sculptures appeared, and today what you can see on the walls was made by very talented miners, artists, two brothers and one of their colleagues. But they did not work together. One of them started, and after some time his brother joined, and finally their friend took over. It took them over 16 years to finish. When we go downstairs, please stick together. We'll take a short walk around first, then I will give you a minute or two to walk around, take pictures, and then we are leaving. Please follow. But be careful, the stairs can be too slippery. Hold the hand.
Blanco está aquí. As you can see, everything is made out of salt. These are not real tiles this time. There used to be a flat floor and there were curved bits. Between them, there is also the same solid rough salt. They are beautifully polished by thousands of shoes per day. That's why they are so smooth and shiny. You can compare them with the tiles behind the ropes. Nobody goes there. You can see the difference. Look at the chandelier. It's much bigger than in the first chandelier. All of them made out of salt crystals. And the walls around show Jesus' life. Up there, this way, till death. And quickly, here the stairs. King Herod's sentence, followed by the Messiah, like escape into Egypt and donkey. Welcome to Jesus' Virgin Temple. In the main altar, statue of our patron, Saint Kinga. On the left wall, Golgotha and Jesus on the cross. Miracle in Cana, changing water into wine. I'm sure you recognize the Last Supper. From the distance, it seems quite deep, right? But in fact, it's almost flat, like this. It's the light and perspective that creates such a misleading impression.
and the Resurrection Chapel next to it, and the Dante House. Statue of John Paul II on the back of the chapel is our meeting point. I will call you in a moment, 2 minutes, when it's our turn to leave. So now just keep walking around, take some pictures, and see you over there. You will find me over there if you have any questions. Thank you. That year the Pope was in Poland and he was invited to canonize Blessed Kinga over here. Unfortunately, because of his health problems, the visit was cancelled, so he didn't even see the monument live. But we know that Karol Wojtyła, that was his real name, visited the mine several times. He was a student, priest, bishop, never. And while leaving the church, you can see the names of the miners, artists I've mentioned, the 2 Markowski brothers, and one of their colleagues, Antoni. The last chance to take some pictures, take a look at the chapel once more. So what you can see is not water, it's brine, solanka, a solution of salt in water which contains 320 grams of salt per liter of water, which means that no more salt can be dissolved in it. And that's why we can keep such lakes, because otherwise, if it was water, it would dissolve the salt walls around and the channel would fall down. What's more, such high concentration of salt in water means that you wouldn't drown in here. It's impossible to dive into it or swim in it. So instead, you'd float on the surface, yep. If not walk on it. Yep. It's like the Dead Sea. And this is one of the deepest lakes in this way. Here, but it's much deeper in the middle over there. Now, to see 2 other lakes, we need to go down to the second lower level. Now, the lake of Mount
olla se.
Niin, se ei ole siinä
Niin, ja tästä oli pastunut se vai itse kanssa.
Niin.
Jos sä nousit siitä, niin pystyt vettä laittamaan vettä.
Now we are 110 meters deep. This is the second lower level. We still have about 25 meters more to go, as the deepest point you will reach today is 135 meters.
Ja kuitenkaan hän on korkeakin, jotta siellä täytyy työn takana.
Yes. We used to sit more visitors because of the COVID and now the war situation. The majority of visitors are foreign local tourists.
Okay.
Not many foreign tourists as we used to receive. So we have to wait one more year or two to get back to normal.
Oh, well, sometimes one tour is tiring, so it's enough for the. There was a good reason once to use white color in the mine. As you can see, almost every single tunnel was painted white. When there was no electricity in here, miners used oil lamps to light the mine, so white color gave more light, yes, reflected it and made it much easier to move around in the dark. Besides, that was not just white paint, but the mixture of the lime wash, the paint, salt and salty water. It gave white color, yes, but it also preserved the wood very well and prevented it from burning in case of fire. Now, 10 stairs up for a change, just one exception, 10 stairs up, and you are going to see one of the biggest chambers on our way. Counting from where we are now, this chamber is about 36 meters high, And it took miners over 100 years with long breaks in between to dig salt out of it and build this huge wooden support. Look how much timber was used to support just one chamber. One. I guess forest might have been cut down to build it. And this is not the only chamber of this size in the mine. In total, it is estimated that there are over 2,000 underground chambers and over 200 kilometers of tunnels supported with wood. This staircase leads to the top of the chamber, and it used to be possible for tourists to walk up there everywhere on special occasions for, let's say, VIP visitors. Live music was played by miners' orchestra, and such special tours with live music and special attractions, small receptions up there are organized from time to time. That's why the chamber has also been decorated with this beautiful salt crystal chandelier. We can't go there today, but if it was possible, in about 5 minutes, we would get to the very top of it, straight to the place where we have started this tour. It's a shortcut connecting the first level, 64 meters, and the second level. But instead, we are going this way, downstairs. In the next chamber, we are taking a short break, and then level 3. Mind the stairs. Yes.
Why is the brace only half of it?
Sorry?
Why is only half of it brace?
Because the second part, you can see the white spots above us, is supported with the rock anchors. Because this is the oldest part, and immediately after the mine dug salt, they built these pit pumps. But this, the other half above us, was supported later, and these rock anchors were used. Just in case. We are taking a break. Stick to the group first, please. Sure, just an announcement. We are taking a short break. I don't know how long, up to 10 minutes, I guess. I'll be waiting in the queue. Okay, and when it's our turn to leave, I'll call you. You are the first English tour, okay? And there are restrooms in this area, toilets, so let me know. I'll show you if you don't want to use the toilets. There are also shops, you can get something to drink. There's a shop with souvenirs, but there will be more time and more shops at the end of the tour, okay? Find a free seat if you are tired and wait until I call you, please, okay? And this way, please. Toilets, this way, please. Yeah, this way. When you get inside, you will see that the chamber now has a shape of a dome, and it does not require any wooden pit pots. This is the second chamber with a lake on our way. Why Weimar chamber? Because the Prince of Weimar visited the mine once, together with the famous German poet and writer Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. He wrote books, poems, but he also collected crystals and minerals. That was his hobby. He was interested in geology, and we know that he wanted to see our mine during his visit to the Polish mines. Now, I am taking you to the Dark Weimar chamber, where I've got a very nice surprise for you. In a moment, you will watch the show of light and music, and we will listen to a piece of classical music composed by Frédéric Chopin, famous Polish composer. You will hear the music with some background noises, voices, and sounds of working miners. Now, the group is leaving this way, so stand on the left side, please. 1 moment. Yes. Oh, I've forgotten to tell you that it's so dark in here because it is believed that the mine ghost lives over there. Hope you're not afraid of ghosts. This chamber very romantic and relaxing. I hope you enjoyed it. Now it's time to go to the third level, so please follow me and mind the steps. one more salt monument on our way, but this time of Józef Piłsudski, a famous Polish national hero, commander-in-chief during the First World War. Marshal Piłsudski was a very important figure in Polish politics and history, and he also visited this mine once. Every time somebody famous, popular was here in the past, Copernic, Goethe, John Paul II, Chopin, Piłsudski, and many others, now we have these statues or chambers were named after them. This is one of the newest monuments from 1997. Most of the salt sculptures you have seen today were made in the second half of the 20th century. And now we are going to the Piłsudski chamber. You can see it from the top. The last one with a salt lake on our way. A miner stopped working over here in 1830s. Then they built this so-called basket support. So it's about 200 years old now. And then the lake was also created and special attractions for tourists were prepared. Let's go downstairs and I will tell you about it. These are almost last stairs and you are on the 3rd level. And again, while listening to live music and watching kind of fireworks displays above ground. But unfortunately, once there was a terrible accident over here, when during the First World War in 1915, a group of soldiers came and took a boat ride without permission. And the problem was that too many of them got on it and they overloaded the boat. But they had a lot of fun. They started swaying the boat like this from side to side. And suddenly the ropes broke and the boat capsized and they all fell into the lake. That was salty water, so they did not drown. They were quickly saved over here. Unfortunately, some of the soldiers got trapped under the heavy boat and they died in here before the boat arrived to rescue them. It was. And since that accident, there were no more boat rides for anyone. That's why by the lake over there you can see the salt statue of Jan Nepomucen from Prague, a Czech patron of the drowning, people working at sea and sailors to prevent from any accidents after that. And so today, it would be nice to have one, but instead we have to go the opposite direction. And now we are going up the tunnel and then down again. Look, we are already 130 meters deep. This way, please.
Nie. Nasze na Kraków. Na wsiorki Kraków zdaється.
Please stand around. Make sure everybody can see. Just stand around, please. Yes. Because we have completed the main part of the tour, and you will continue the rest of it without me. I am leaving you now, and it's almost time to say goodbye. Before I go, I'll show you where you are, where you can go, and how to find the exit. We are over here in the last chamber during the tour. What's interesting is that here once a bungee jumping was made from the top, yeah? And there was also a hot air balloon once. This is not the lift which you can take, no. You can spend some time over here, watch our exhibitions. There is a nice collection of salt crystals over there. And then keep walking straight on, that way, which is that way on the map. Toilets, restrooms, shopping area, a restaurant, a concert hall, and the waiting hall. You are not a group, but individual tourists. Remember, if you want to catch the lift, the elevator, you need to wait in the middle line. There is a sign, exit for individual tourists. Wait over there, and the guide, me or somebody else, will take you to the lift, which is far away from here, about 10 minutes on foot, and then 45 seconds to come back to the top. But you are coming back to the town center. If you want to get to the place where you have started the tour, after you get off the lift, walk through the shop and leave the main shop building, turn right, and keep walking straight on, past the church, the castle, through the park, and in 5 minutes you are there. Okay? Also, there is a possibility to see our underground museum exhibition, which is located on the 3rd level. For another guided tour, you need to wait in the same waiting hall on the right side. It takes about 40 to 45 minutes, and then after you see the museum area, you are going straight to the lift. Okay? Once you leave this area, you cannot come back. Okay? Don't be afraid, these chambers are all connected together, so it's impossible to get lost over here. And now, you are free, whatever your decision is, enjoy the rest of the tour. You can spend the afternoon in the mine, because it closes really in the evening, late in the evening, so no hurry, okay? Enjoy the tour. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And this way. Thank you. They could really go.
Hello.
Patrz gdzieś.
To są naprawdę sznury, no to mnie. Są
Może jeszcze podejść.
Państwa, schodzimy na trzeci poziom, głębokość 135 metrów. Podejdziemy do szybu obok szybu Daniłowicza, w którym praktycznie schodziliśmy i doprowadzę Państwa do szybu Regis, do najstarszego szybu w Wieliczce, w którym zabudowana jest nowoczesna winda i wyjedziemy na górę. Około 700-800 metrów musimy przejść wyrobiskami, chodnikami, windą wyjeżdżamy na górę i potem wskażę Państwu drogę do parkingów, do wyjścia głównego. Zapraszam.
To wiesz, to
No tak, 38.
Obmywa niejako i używane i potem znowu gdzieś się razem zbierają, dochodzą do drugiego szybu i tam wentylator zabiera. To jest ten sam system jak pan co i metro na przykład. Wchodzą do metra, powietrze nie jest lepsze, tak? Nie dmuchamy. Jak się dmuchało, powoli wchodzi. Tak, na każdym szybie hydraulowy za 20 litrów.
Jak się jeszcze nie zmieni, to się wiesz. Idę.
Idąc tymi schodami do góry, można wyjść w okolice największej kaplicy, którą Państwo zwiedzaliście. Wszystkie wyrobiska są połączone, a zwiedzamy tylko centralną część, tą taką najbardziej widokową, która została dodatkowo zabezpieczona, oświetlona dla potrzeb turystyki. A komory były zgłębiane od góry, od stropu do spądu, czyli do poziomu, na którym jest.
No, tak.
Kokeiltiin eri kieliä, mutta se katalainen oli paha. Niin.
Gdybyś skręcił, to byś gdzieś nie pojechał, no.
Fajna, ale
Stary worek teraz.
Nie? 18 osób na oko. 18 osób do jednej windy.
18. Idź, bo może się uda wejść.
No mniej więcej, bo to kolega potem przy windzie będzie liczył. O, stop. I my proszę bardzo. Do drugiej windy. Tak?
Ile to jest 18? Ile to jest 18? Nie, to przy windzie będzie liczył. Ile jest 18? Siadaj, odpoczywaj. Małeś daleko.
Tämänkohan mä kyllä hevaisin. Kyllä. Tuossa on oltava joku 70 miljoonaa amperin akkuksi. Mitä siitä tuu? Kyllä se on kovan oman taustalla. Missä se? No joo, tuolla varressa voi olla.
Ja siis jos ei ole, niin...
Onko se 45? Oli lyhykämpi 5.